When the sun has set on a Friday night, bringing peace into your home, families will gather all around singing Shabbat Shalom. Everybody sing Shalom. Shalom. A gift from God to put a smile upon your face. He's got the whole world in his hands, so obey his commands and you will know peace. Shalom. Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, my friends. I missed you while I was gone, and I'm back now, and I'm so happy. Now, it looks like if you look behind me, normally you'd see a whole lot of books. Now you see a whole lot of books and a whole bunch of boxes, but I can explain. You see, we're going to be doing a very, very important project. And the project that we're going to be doing is we are going to be loading up backpacks for underprivileged kids and homeless kids so that they will have the supplies they need and beyond for this school year. And that's going to be a project that we're going to be doing together. Some of us, I don't know if everyone's going to be able to make it, but some of us are going to be doing that. And the boxes behind me are filled with crayons and pencils and all kinds of different school supplies, pencil cases and puzzles and books and other things. And backpacks, actually, the actual backpacks. So excuse the background, but I wanted you to actually see it. Oh, and there's something else I wanted you to see or hear even before we start. Don't go away. I'll be right back. I'm grabbing it from high up on my shelf. Let's see if I can reach it. Uh-oh. I'm not sure I can. I might have to climb. Oh, uh-oh. We don't want to make it. This is great. Oh, here it is. I've got my shofar, and this is important. You know that in the Sephardic tradition, people who are Jewish and of Spanish descent, they blow the shofar every single day in the month leading up to Rosh Hashanah. So this is going to be my first shofar blast of the year as we are getting closer to Rosh Hashanah. So here I go. Let's see. Well, that feels good. It feels like Rosh Hashanah is coming. And that really gets me in the mood for, actually another way to track that Rosh Hashanah is coming is keep an eye on the moon. Because as the moon becomes full, we'll know that we're just 2 weeks away from Rosh Hashanah, which should be by about this Saturday or Sunday. And then it will start to shrink and shrink and shrink. And when the moon is gone, then we'll know that the next day is Rosh Hashanah, which is 2 weeks from Sunday. So it's really coming up. All right. But for now, we're going to make Shabbat. I'm so glad to be with all of you to do that. Let's see. Let's get a capo on. That's the thing that makes this string shorter and therefore a little bit higher. I hope you'll sing along with me. Shalom Aleichem. Peace to all of you angels out there. And in my view, you are precious angels in my life. I think in Judaism, when we think of angels, we don't think of, flying white spirits in the sky. I think we think of people who turn the earth into heaven by just being good. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Boachem Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Mim Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Seichem Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Mim Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Time to light our candles for Shabbat. Please join me. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Shel Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, tzivanu lehadlik ner, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, shel Shabbat. A second. How about we now get ready for the Shema with this beautiful song called Open Up Your Eyes. Open up our eyes. Teach us how to live. Fill our hearts with joy and all the love we have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one. Open up our eyes. Teach us how to live. Fill our hearts with joy and all the love we have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Olam Va'ed. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. And now the more traditional melody for those who enjoy that. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. And as is written on our mezuzot, the doorposts of our home, Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'aderech uvshochbecha uvkumecha וקשרתם לאהות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בהן עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך, ובשעריך. Love the eternal, your God, with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. At this time, I'd like to make a healing blessing to all members of our community that are in need of healing. Misha Be'erach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak Yaakov Vimotenu Sar Rivka Rachel V'Leah Vivarech Virapeh Et Kol HaCholim B'Keilah Shelanu, the Los Angeles Jewish Health HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yimaleh Rachamim Alehem Lachlimam U'Hachyotam. May the one who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, send your blessing of healing to all members of our community here at the Los Angeles Jewish Health that are in need of healing. All of our residents that are in need of healing and their loved ones, all of our staff that is in need of healing and their loved ones, all of our rehab patients that are in need of healing and their loved ones, all of our volunteers and supporters that are in need of healing and their loved ones, that they should all have a refuah shlema, a complete healing of body and of spirit, along with all those among the people of Israel who are struggling for wholeness. And we say together, Amen. And now a blessing for everyone on this wonderful Shabbat. Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Yaher Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May God's light shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yisah Adonai panav elecha ve'yasehem lecha shalom. May God gaze upon you and your loved ones and give you the blessing of shalom, of peace. Ken Yiratzon, may be God's will. Amen. And now a mourner's Kaddish for all those who are saying Kaddish in our community, who are either mourning currently the loss of a loved one, including our own residents here at the home, or who are marking a yard site, the anniversary of the loss of a loved one. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbi, Amen. Ve'alma divrach chirutei ve'amlich malchutei b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael v'agala v'zman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam u'lalmei almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudusha richu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tishbechata v'nechemata damiran ve'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav huyaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved among us and all of Israel and all the world. And we say together, Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav. Shalom, Yahaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yahaseh Shalom, Yahaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yahaseh Shalom, Yahaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yahaseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'achol Yisrael, ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'achol Yisrael, hine ma tov manayim, shevet achim gam yachad, hine ma tov manayim, shevet achim gam yachad, hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad, hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad, hine ma tov manayim, shevet achim gam yachad, hine ma tov manayim, shevet achim gam yachad, hine ma tov, ya la 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 la, hine ma tov, ya la 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 la, hine ma tov manayim, shevet achim gam yachad, hine ma tov manayim, shevet achim gam yachad, hine ma tov manayim, la 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 la, hine ma tov manayim, la 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 la. One more Shabbat song, and then we'll do some chatting. Lecha Dodi, greeting the Sabbath bride. Likat kala b'nei Shabbat lekabla lekahavra. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom mevorah. So let's do a little chatting about this Shabbat. Aside from the fact that or in addition to the fact, I shouldn't say aside from, in addition to the fact that we are already in the month of preparation for Rosh Hashanah, the month of Elul, and the rabbi said, Ani ladodi v'dodi li, I am my beloved is mine. What does this mean? It's a month of love. And that is a month of trying to cultivate love of God, if you want that, or cultivate love of humankind, if you want that. Also, a month where you begin to look at any repairs that are needed in your relationship. It's sort of like if I were to bring in my car for an oil change, they're going to look for things. They're going to see if my brake pads are okay. They're going to see if my tires are too worn down. They're going to look at it all. They're going to check my windshield wiper fluid, and they're going to fix or update whatever's needed. And that's what we do with our soul at this time of year. We look at the whole thing, maybe part by part. We look at the relationships in our lives, our children, our grandchildren, even those who've passed away, because we know that relationships continue even after someone dies, right? And see what we can do in our hearts and souls, and sometimes with words, to repair any brokenness. So we're in that time of the year, since Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur are almost on the horizon. But I wanted to look today at this week's Torah portion, which is called Teitzei. And Teitzei is a really good Torah portion that reminds us how to be a good citizen in a lot of different ways. And, one could study Teitzei for a semester, because there's so much depth to it. It really is one of my favorite Torah portions, Teitzei. But I really wanted to just, sometimes when we learn kind of horizontally, where we kind of cover a lot of material, and whatever people get out of it, we get. Sometimes I prefer to go vertically, kind of go deep on one concept. And that's what I want to do today. So what is this concept that's of interest to me? And I can tell you that it's not just of interest to me. The rabbis were very, very interested in it, and they develop it later in the Talmud. Basically, it's this. If someone loses something and you find it, what do? Someone loses something, you find it, what do? So in ancient times, they didn't just give the scenario of, let's say, a wallet or something like that, or a purse. They gave the scenario of livestock. So you're walking down the road. Again, you got to put on the ancient mindset. This isn't like any of our actual lives. Maybe some of you were farmers. I helped a little bit on a farm, but I don't live in that world, right? But our ancient ancestors live in farmland. They didn't have, the fancy elaborate fences and barns and all that we have today. So you're walking down the road and you see somebody's ox. Okay. What do you do? Okay. It's your neighbors. It's from 2 neighbors down. What do? You can keep the ox. That's one option, right? Wow, I found an ox. And what do they say in American culture and children? Finders, keepers, losers, weepers, right? I can say, wow, his unluck is my gain. He'll never know the difference. It looks like his ox, but it could easily be an ox that I bought. So you could acquire it and make it yours. You could hang on to it until your neighbor gets around, but it could die of thirst or hunger, couldn't it? That's where it's different than finding a wallet or a purse. I find somebody's wallet, I can try to find them. Nothing's going to happen. If I find somebody's ox, it could die of hunger or thirst. Well, do I have an obligation to feed and water? That could cost me money. I might not get reimbursed for that, so maybe I can just hold on to it, or I can look for the owner and until I find him, take responsibility for the animal. And needless to say, you can probably guess, our tradition is very clear that if you find somebody else's lost object, you are responsible for that lost object. In other words, you couldn't just walk by it and say, someone else's problem. As soon as you see that lost object, it is your responsibility to watch it, to care for it, to feed it, to water it, whatever you need to do to keep it intact until you find the rightful owner, and you would then give it back. And this is very, very profound and foundational. And I would say almost foundational as a matter of comparison and contrasting our modern culture with Jewish culture, our modern values with Jewish values. I'm not the first person to point out that American culture, with its wonderful aspects of liberty and freedom and so forth, is very individualistic. It's all about one's rights and freedoms, which are really important and really, really significant in democracy. But Judaism tilts as an ethical and value-based tradition, tilts more in the direction, not that people shouldn't be free, they certainly should, but tilts more in the direction of responsibility, caring, thoughtfulness, and generosity. Because at the end of the day, and by the way, true story, when one of my children was about, I'm going to say 9 or 10 years old, we took a trip to New York. And I remember that we went to visit the Statue of Liberty in Ellis Island. And at one point, we just laid down on the grass to just enjoy the scene. And my child found a necklace, a gold necklace. And I said, what do you think? And my kid said, well, finders, keepers, losers, weepers. And I'm like, nah, that's a schoolyard talk. We are Jewish, and our values are, how do we find the rightful owner? So we looked around and we found a lost and found. And at the lost and found, they said the chance of people coming back for it is very small because they've got tourists coming and going all the time internationally. And I said, that's okay. We'd rather return it than take a chance that someone who's looking for it can't find it. So finders, keepers, losers, weepers, the American tradition is kind of selfish, isn't it? It's about, your loss is my gain. Your misfortune is my opportunity. We don't believe that at all. It's just the other way around. Someone else's misfortune might be an opportunity, but it's an opportunity to help them. And it's an opportunity to do a mitzvah and to unite human beings with each other and help other people believe in people. If people act selfishly, then we stop believing in people. If people act kindly and generously and selflessly and always caring about the other as much as possible, it restores our faith in humanity. Isn't that the case? And so this is a wonderful Torah portion, or wonderful passage in the Torah portion to remind us of a kind of practical implication of loving your neighbor as yourself. Because, loving is about feeling. Taking action to take care of others, it takes a little bit of an effort. It's a little bit of a schlep. And so, I think our challenge is to say, well, now that we don't have livestock running around and we don't live in these farming villages where we're going to bump into someone's ox, and we might not even find someone's lost object, we might though. What's a practical implication for us today? And I'm really going to leave you with that question to invite you to ponder, given that it's a Jewish value to take responsibility for someone else's lost object. Where can we in modern day fulfill that mitzvah of taking responsibility for someone else's lost object? One other thought. So I'm going to leave you with that question, but one other thought. Sometimes people are lost. Not objects, but people. And where can we come in to help people find themselves? And I've seen that a lot here at the Jewish Home. I've seen your friendships and your caring and your loving kindness, your chesed, your goodness, not only watching out for each other, but I've seen how you watch out for staff, because one can get lost and disillusioned. And sometimes it's just another person being thoughtful or caring that can get us back on track. So that's our Torah portion, Ki Teitzei, and lost and found, as it were. Let's get back to our Shabbat songs, and let's have you join along. This is Vishamru, which reminds us to keep the Shabbat, which is what you're doing right now by participating with me. Vishamru, B'nai Yisrael, Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotot le'ridolam Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam le'ridolam. Now we're going to make Kiddush. Please join me if you will, and you can join me by singing along or just by saying amen when it's over. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'avahu v'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'mahaseh v'reishit, Kihu Yom Techila Lemikrae Kodesh, Zecher Litziat Mitzrayim, Kivanu V'charta, V'otanu Kidashta, B'kol Ha'amim, V'shabbat Kahodshecha, V'ahavahu V'ratzon, Inchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh, HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. And now the motzi, because you're going to be eating quite soon. We're making motzi over the challah. Please join me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom, or you'd say amen. I want to thank you all for joining me for the Shabbat. And I want to thank our IT department, John Lynn, for helping us with this recording. I want to thank our activities staff and all of our other staff that's involved in making sure that you had an opportunity to join me today. And I wish you a sweet Shabbat, a Shabbat of goodness, of health, of hope, of love, and of peace. Adonai Asher Malach, B'terem Kol Yetzer Nivra, Le'ed Nasa, B'chefso Kol Azai Mehem, Shemo Nikra Ve'acharei Michlo Shabbat shalom, everyone. From my heart to yours, Shabbat shalom.
When the sun has set on a Friday night, bringing peace into your home, families will gather all around singing Shabbat Shalom. Everybody sing Shalom.